Alright, this is the part 2 of this tutorial. Here I'm gonna show you how to make the Django application and how can we allow it to connect to the AWS cloud. So to help you, to help this tutorial be a little bit efficient, I have this repository that you may want to download or clone. I'm gonna post this repo into the video description. So we click into code and we copy this SSH URL. Copy. I'm gonna open the tutorial folder, and here I'm going to open a terminal. I'm going to do a git clone, and paste the URL, and just clone the Django repository. Done. Here in this folder, we only gonna care about this folder named my audio project. We copy this. I'm gonna paste it outside the folder, and we can erase this Django folder. We don't need it because it has many other stuff. So here we have this my audio project, and we see inside the folder we have a requirement file, and it has these dependencies we are gonna install, where we're gonna install them into an environment. So here we make sure we have this folder, and we create we open a terminal again. Here inside of this terminal, I'm going to type virtual m, a name of your environment. In this case, I'm going to type venv, and let's just wait for this to be created. Alright, it's done. We proceed to activate the environment. We do an ls play, then source venv, scripts activate. Perfect. It is activated, so we proceed to install the dependencies according to what? According to the requirement file. So here we run pip install -r to read. We are going to read a file located inside of my audio project, and the name of this is requirements.txt. We click on enter, and it is storing the dependencies. Perfect. Done. How can we check that we indeed have the dependencies? We type pip freeze. Perfect. Dependencies installed. Now let's just run the project. Let me just see what I have right now. Let's go inside my audio project. Just access it. CD my audio project. And yes. Alright, this is what is inside. And let's do a pip python manage migrate. It's gonna migrate what is inside the module. Well, let me just explain this. Here we see this diagram. We have this init file. We have this audio application. It does have an admin.py, apps.py models where we define the object we're gonna store into a local database. The templates, and here it is the index HTML that we created before, and that's part number 1. But this will be modified. This will have slightly different modifications. Now we have the test.py. These are default files, and the view important. This is important. Well, apart from the application, we have a manage.py that will allow us to run the project, migrate the models, and so on. And we have this my auto project. It has the same name of the folder, and it does have some files important for the web service side, like ASCII, setting.py, URLs, and wiki. And this readme, well, it is empty, this file. A requirement, we already used this file, and a compressed file named static.sip, which has the JavaScript file. All right, so as I said, I have this this structure, and we proceed to migrate the models. Here there is a model, and I'm gonna migrate this with Python manage.py space migrate. All right, done. And then create super user. It's a super user creation skip. Do not run it in a TTY. You can run manage create in your project to create one manually. Okay, I remember that this can be overcome with a command. Let me just remember. Yes, but I think that I will just do it later. I'll just open a normal command prompt here, and I'm gonna do it less cd desktop, cd tutorial, env scripts, and activate, and then cd my audio project, yes, ls, and then Python manage create super user. So I'm gonna create as tutorial usuario, and email address user at gmail.com, and password it's too common. Bypassing and create a super using anyway. Yes, I want to bypass this thing. All right, create. Now that it is created, I'm gonna go and migrate again. Okay, here I'm gonna continue with I check here in the appliance before this log that says running migrations. We see auth admin content types auth, but we don't see the model of the application, right? So what we do is make migrations. We run again the command with make migrations and the space, and then the name of our application, which is audio app. And okay, it made a migration on audio app. Well, it's recorded the migration in a file. Now we have to execute that migration with migrate. Perfect. If we do an LSLA, we should see a DB SQLite 3, which is the default when you create a which is the default database when you create a Django application. Also, you may wanna unzip this file. Let me just check on this. My audio project. I'm gonna unzip this with this 7-zip program. Extract static. Alright, I'm gonna delete this. And let's check inside the static. We see that we have node modules, right? The same as this, but I have put this this JavaScript dependencies and this browser workaround, these assets inside this static. All right, it's the same node modules. Under JS, we see again the browser workarounds, the Marco.js. Well, this is just a temporary. It doesn't have anything useful. Safari workaround and the player.js. I will explain this later. Just bear with me. The idea that I am just using the same files and the CSS also examples. It is what it was in assets. So now let's check that it actually works. How? Let's just run it. Let's lay. Oh well, right. We are here already. Then with the Python. Let's see the changes. Now we see the static file. If I am not mistaken, it should be ready to go. Python manage.py run server. Okay, watching for a file changes. All right. So let me just enter a new private window and access localhost. And we see that it has been detected the change here. All right. Now we proceed to record the voice. We activate the voice plugin and we record. Press the record button. We are recording a voice. Stop it. Let's see what happens if it's sent. All right, we open another tab and we access the admin and we access with use usuario, which is username in English, and password. Okay, it has been. You may see here audio recordings, which is from the model, and the audio recorded there. And this is the recording. If you open this, you will see an access denied because this URL, I'm sorry, tries to retrieve information from the S3, but it is not allowed in the policies from the Amazon Web Cloud, S3 Cloud. But what we can do is we can access the Amazon Cloud and see for yourself that it has been. All right, just let me remember. Well, I don't have the password here. I will just open this in another folder. I will click on Amazon Cloud again in another browser because I have this dash lane that will provide me with the password authentication fast. And I check on S3. I check that I have this bucket, pinche cumbión. I click on the bucket and I see inside of my recordings there is this recording. If we check on the the Django admin, we see that it is the name is audio this under slash 2evv7 something 2, it must be this one. No, it's actually this one. I sorted by the last modified timestamp, and we see that this one is the latest. All right, and you can open this, download it, and hear the voice again. Let me just test the voice. Press the record button. We are recording a voice. All right, stop it. It works. So far I have shown you how to make it work, but I have not explained how it works. So I'm going to pause this and I'm gonna go through the files. So let me just show the files, and I'm gonna open an editor. In this case I'm using Visual Code. So now that we are sure that this works, we can now go through the files. Okay, this is the folder. The first file I want you to pay attention is settings. All right, I have set a key, but I bind the key into the system environment variables that are on my local machine. So if you run it on your machine, it won't work. Why? Because I have not shared my secret key. The same goes for the for this part. All right, that says I have set these variables: AWS access key ID, this one secret access key, and I am retrieving this from my local machine. If you run it, it won't work because it won't find anything. It won't find the key. All right, so this key is what you get from from your account from Amazon Web Services. All right, so you need to get the access key, the secret access key, the storage bucket name. In this case, it's pretty obvious that the name of this bucket is Pinche Cumbión, or Pinche Cumbión, here the name. So the AWS S3 custom domain. All right, this is just a concatenation between this string and the AWS storage bucket name, which is here. And this AWS object parameters, a cache control of max age of this one and this number, but in seconds. I think it is seconds, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not so sure about this data. I just copied from somewhere else. These options, AWS file override false. I don't want to override, but if you do, you are free to go. Free to just put it, change it to true. Default access list, none. Bucket authentication, false. And I want to set this application to use not the database or this folder as storage, but Amazon S3 service as a storage. That's why I put here default file storage. Storages backends S3.3, S3.3 as storage. So this is very important. So if you want to know what is the relevant changes, this one is what you need to copy just exactly and replace this with your key. So you may want to erase this, delete this, and paste your ID. That will be something like this, but something like this. Just putting an example. All right. What is different? And this one, of course, this one you will get it from your own. When you create a project, you will have to set keep a secret key. All right, you'll have to create a secret key, and well, when you have this done, everything else is just the same. Of course, here on install apps, very important. You have to. It has to be the same. This is one is created by default, but you have to inscribe your audio application and storages, which is another application that runs at the background. I'm importing the OS, so this is change number 1, changes number 2, number 3, and number 4 here. Everything else is just by default. And number 6, this static file dirs. The directory of our static file will be the base dir and a static folder, which is here, the static folder. All right. So if you have any questions in this part, just let me know, and I will try to help you out. But I think it is pretty straightforward. All right, settings done. Then on a static, you should have this example CSS. All right, which is on the zipped compressed file, the JS. This browser workaround. All right. This thing is just this Markov JS that you will see on the zipped. I'm not using it. I use it at the beginning just to test the user, the functionality of the JS. This one I'm not also using, so you may want to delete this. And there is this player JS. It is very important. All right, there is this player JS that it does have this part, which is the same part, the same code as the one I presented in the part number 1. And there is this Ajax function here. This is the different part. First, I have to say that I have embedded this part that is from the first script inside of this jQuery. So when the document is ready, I'm gonna run this entire thing. And with that Ajax, I'm gonna do something important. There is the core of the part that sends the file is here. So the backend is here. Just bear with me. Let's just leave it here, this snippet. Let me just go back again to the application, to the audio app. I'm gonna go to models. I have this model, audio recording. It's an object that will have a name and an audio file, which is defined as model.file field, which is going to upload to a folder named recordings. And oh surprise, this name is exactly the same name as we see here on the bucket, right? My recordings. So when you run it, it will automatically create a folder in your S3. And this method just to show the on the admin the name of the to show the object with this and the identifier, which is the name of the file, right? So now let's see the admin. Here it is very classic. I'm just creating an admin, and I am subscribing the audio recording in the admin, and which by this we register the model into the admin. Finally, the views.py Alright, I have one simple function, very straightforward, def home request. Forget about this. At the end, it will return a render function rendering through the request the index.html, and we are passing a context. What is this index.html? Let me just see. Under the templates, there is this file, index.html. Here, if you compare, it's the same file, almost the same file as the one I presented before in the part 1. It's the same file, but I just separated the HTML from the script. So the script here goes in the file named here the player.js. I separated the functionality. Here is the JavaScript, and the HTML part is here on index.html. If you compare, at least the first part is similar, the same dependencies. I haven't changed much, just this tag. Since I am using a static folder here, I have to reference using this tag, static modules, not modules, and the dependencies. Even browser workarounds are gotten from the JS. You see browser workaround JS here. All right. These are the dependencies. So everything is here. And here on the body, it is very short because I create a container. And here an audio widget, an audio element with this ID. My audio is important, this ID. We are styling this with a black color. It has this class, and below I have a button that will submit. It has send description here, send label. Then this button will submit, has an ID submit. So two IDs, two important IDs. The first one, the ID of the audio element, which is my audio, and another ID of the button that submit the voice recording to the cloud, with an ID submit. And here I do this tricky part. I just will send a variable with the name my var into the JavaScript part. I will pass through the context dictionary this file name, which is the name of the file of the recording. Right? And then we run the JS layer.js, which is what I presented here. Right? So let me just come back at this part, which is the core. When you press submit and you press click function, when you click on the submit, this is gonna start. You're gonna save the file, and you're gonna create a variable which is going to contain a name for the audio. It's gonna retrieve the my var identifier and its value, and I will add the extension. In this case is that WEVM. So this is the audio file name, just a string. Then we instantiate a variable my file, which is going to be new file, an object of type file, and it has this data, which is going to be retrieved from the player.record the data, and we pass the name of this file. So this file object will accept as an argument the blob, which is the data, the binary data, and the name of that file. So this file we create, we need to get the CSRF token, which is very important. Needless to say, I put here the CSRF token, which is important to authenticate our request. But there is a post or a get, it needs to be validated with this token. So we need to pass to the token. From the input, you get this CSRF middleware token. And a URL, which is the same. I'm not gonna show I'm not gonna change the URL, so I leave it empty. And var data, new form data, I instantiate an object of type form data. This data will store the recorded audio, which is this file, and the token. Very important. Put a space here. This data is what we're gonna send to the backend using Ajax. With this ampersand, with this $sign .ajax, we set the URL, set the method host we're gonna send. We set the data with this variable also data, and when it succeeds, it will change the button to resubmit if you want to send it again. Then they're gonna cache the recording, and the content type false and process data false. Okay, it's not gonna process anything. It's already been processed before. So this is gonna be executed once you click on the button. All right, creates a file, appends it to a data, and we send back to the formulary the data. Or we send to the we add into the request this data. What data? My file object. Very good. So all right, this is done. I don't know what is left. All right, so what is you may want to ask yourself, what is the S3 configuration? There's no S3 storage configuration besides the settings. There's nothing else. What you have to worry is that you have this well configured. This line is very important. And once you put here in the model that your audio file will be saved into this my recording folder, the Boto3, which is a Python library, will automatically create the folder in the bucket that you have configured before. Will create. If you erase this, if you erase the settings, this part of the settings, it will create a folder locally. So here, so we're gonna redirect the storage, and with these lines of code, which is just the bucket name and the keys. S3 does the magic. How? Because we have set a storage application. We have inscribed the storage application. This is you just right here, right? And Django does everything else for you. Again, this will work. Don't forget to put the jQuery. Here's the jQuery, and use the cloud version, the cloud reference, and also the bootstrap. Well, the bootstrap is just for the CSS, but this is very important. This part is also important. Also the URLs are set like this. I just have one URL. Well, besides the admin, the local host and the view home. Right. So I think that it will work if you follow the instructions. Again, this file doesn't, you don't need this file. If you have any questions, just let me know and I can help you to go along the files. Don't forget that on the description there is this tutorial. Here I have, here inside of my audio project, you will see everything. The audio application, the project, and the static dependencies are zipped here, so you don't need to install it again. So I hope this works for you, and you can use it to do many things. So I hope this works as a template or as a boilerplate for your development. Thank you very much. This is it.